Hello friends, thank you so much for being here with me today. There's a little thing called the Sephora VIB sale coming up soon. I think the first tier of it sort of happens for Rouge members on the 26th, April 26th. And I'll have all the dates and additional details below. I don't have it all memorized. But it's kind of a time when a lot of people like to give their product recommendations. And I thought I might attempt the mother of all product recommendation videos here by actually breaking it down category by category, the things that I think are the best from Sephora. Now, these are my opinions, and you may have different ones, and that's fine. But if you are looking for some recommendations from someone, I'll try to give as concisely as I can the reasons why I enjoy these things so much. And hopefully from there, you'll be able to understand whether or not they'd work for you. But this was like prepping for a mini Emily Awards or something. I spent a whole afternoon going through everything and trying to really hone in on my favorites from all these categories. And there's so much good stuff. And there was a lot kind of, close, sort of vying for a favorite spot. But I feel really, really good and just confident in the products that I picked. So this is gonna be so much fun. I will have everything that I mentioned linked below so you can pop up this list, whether it's during this sale or any time that you're in Sephora feeling a little lost, needing a good recommendation for something. I've got it all here. And the hair is slicked back. We are down to business. Let's do this. The first category I have down is primer, and I have two very different kinds of products here to mention. This first one is something that I think a lot of people will refer to kind of as a primer. It's the Vitamin Enriched Face Base from Bobbi Brown. It's a very rich moisturizer, but it does make a fantastic skin prep step. And so the way this fits into my morning routine here is I will do eye cream, I'll put on a hydrating serum, and then I put this on. And then I may go forward with another primer on top of that if I want to. But this in itself is just a really rich cream. You can see I have worked my way all the way to the bottom. I'm so proud. It looks kind of like butter. It's a really nice rich consistency. It may be a bit too much for very oily skin types. I would say I am a straight up normal skin type, and it's amazing for me. I think it has helped foundation wear so much more naturally on my skin. The issue that I may have once had of clinging to dry areas or something like that, just non-existent now. This is a fantastic product. I feel like my skin has never been better, and I think it has never looked better in makeup. So I credit this big time. And then my other more traditional primer that I'd like to recommend is from Farsali, and it's called the Skin Tune Blur. This is kind of one of the thinnest primers I feel that actually has an effect on pores. There are things like Benefit Professional. It's a thicker, more balmy almost primer. This is thin. It's going to come out through a dropper, but then as you blend it in, you're going to feel a nice kind of cling across the skin and a really nice consistent smoothness all over. And that's going to create a great even base for your makeup. Like today, I wore this, and then I put this on as my primer. Felt like I got a great result from my foundation then on top of it. So those were a couple of great skin prep steps if that's what you need. For the category of CC or BB cream, this was an easy one for me. I'd have to say IT Cosmetics. I actually genuinely enjoy all of their formats of this. The traditional, this is the illumination. I also have the matte. I am almost out of a tube of the regular, and my illumination is kind of running low here as well. This goes on the skin so beautifully. It blends in for really amazing coverage as far as a CC cream is concerned. It's definite foundation-like coverage, better coverage than a lot of foundations might give, but it's giving you that SPF 50. It's giving you that option for different finishes depending on your skin type. It lasts really well all day. My mom, who's in her 70s, this is her holy grail coverage type product. So for me to love it, for her to love it, different skin concerns, and I think it's a beautiful product on us both. So definitely something to look into if you want that sort of one and done step. This is moisture and coverage in one. If you're the driest of the dry skin, you may want to layer a little extra moisturizer underneath it, but honestly, this is designed to be something that's a moisturizing step and all the coverage of a foundation. One quick step can really minimize your process a little bit in the morning. For liquid foundation, I have to go with my NARS Natural Radiant Longwear. This in the shade Vienna is absolutely the perfect skin tone match for me. I'm wearing this foundation today, and this is one of those things where if I know I really need to look my best, it's a very special occasion, I need it to wear a long time, but I want that fresh looking skin where people can come up really close to me. I'm not just relying on this to look good in a picture, I want to look good in real life. Amazing stuff here. Love it, love it, love it. This pump dispenses a very small amount. I would say 2 pumps is ideal for me. It gets me all over my skin, gives me beautiful beautiful coverage, but yet has this lightness to it and has this bit of radiance. I wouldn't say it's all out super dewy. It doesn't even go on to have an especially tacky feel, but it just kind of becomes one with the skin while perfecting the skin, and I love it so much. And at the end of the day, when I go to take this off, I will have a makeup wipe just chock full of makeup. Like, this doesn't go anywhere on me. It wears really well on my normal skin. I wanted to do a category for stick foundation because I have a stick that I feel extremely strongly about, and it's the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue. This is a stick with the SPF 25 in it. I wear it in the shade Cashew. That's 3.5. Just a total amazing product to come on the scene here fairly recently, and it's a great little everyday product. This is going to give you pretty much medium coverage, but it looks so super fresh on the skin, feels cooling, gliding across the skin, blends in super easily. It's a great kind of low maintenance, easy, everyday foundation, and I was really surprised at the staying power because it makes me feel very hydrated, and I think that's a great thing, and that's really good for the appearance of the skin, but it sometimes makes you doubt, like, okay, so how long will it actually wear? But I can definitely experience all day wear with this, you know, setting my T-zone a little bit and I'm good. Really, really great tight capping mechanism there, and I think that's part of what keeps it so nicely hydrating and fresh feeling on the skin, so love that. Bare Minerals is going to get another big shout out for the category of powder foundation, the original mineral foundation. In the past year or so, I've really just immersed myself in the world of Bare Minerals all over again and have realized how beautiful this looks on the skin, how minimal it seems, like in terms of the work you're doing, and in terms of the amount of actual product on the skin, it seems like so little, but the end result is so impressive. I will always come away feeling more radiant having this on my skin. You can make this come off looking like a liquid. Go to Shelby Wilson, she'll tell you all her secrets. I've fallen in love with a lot of different products from the Bare Minerals line, but for a couple of really different things that can give you like that Bare Minerals radiance on your skin and feel good to your skin, you feel like you're kind of doing your skin a favor by putting them on, these are amazing choices. For concealer, let's hit these boom, boom, boom. I've got 3 different kinds. One for dry skin, I would say the Tarte Creaseless Concealer. Probably, honestly, the best product in Tarte's line. Like, this is really impressive. It's a doe foot applicator concealer. Used to come in a squeezy tube, but this is the kind of thing that's going to provide so much extra hydration to the under eye area. That's the best place to use this if you're feeling a little dry. I'm wearing this on this area today, and I do tend to want to set it. Even though I use it very minimally, I'm talking just a few little dots, I still set it because it's kind of rich and tacky, and I feel like I get the best staying power if I lightly go over it with some powder, but the coverage is amazing for the small amount that you use, and it really kind of nourishes that under eye area and gives back to the skin. Now I want to mention something that's kind of like a lightweight all-purpose type concealer. I feel like I've been bringing this up more and more lately. It's the Bare Minerals Bare Skin Complete Coverage Serum Concealer. Super light, super unfussy, I guess, you know, doe foot applicator, no big deal. Ultra light and easy to blend on the skin. Great over any problem areas. If you've got a little like leftover texture from a zit, if you've got redness, if you've got under eye issues, it can kind of tackle pretty much anything on the skin. I would say it's not as much coverage as a Shape Tape or even the creaseless concealer I just mentioned, but it's satisfying enough to me to be able to get away, you know, just using this. It's a product that I do feel is effective, but really doesn't feel like much of anything on the skin once you're done. And it's a great prep step to your Bare Minerals original foundation. I just did that in a recent Get Ready With Me video if you want to check that out. Gotta recommend a corrector here, and it's the Benefit Boing Brightening Concealer in the shade number 2. I've tried a lot of correctors. I do feel like this is the perfect shade for me. It's the perfect level of like peachy with a little bit of pink. You know, it's that great salmon shade, not too light, not too dark, really camouflages any kind of blue tone circle I might get. Also really nice over melasma type marks. That's darkness that can develop on the skin that kind of looks like a sunspot sort of. It can be very splotchy, it can get very dark, and this is the kind of thing that's going to tackle that sort of darkness the best. I love the texture of this. I feel like it is gently hydrating, like it's not too goopy. You're not going to feel like a real mess after you put it on, but just like pat it in with your fingers. And then if you feel like you really want to even yourself out, like go for your fullest coverage effect, take one of the other concealers I mentioned and go over top. Powder, I've got a category for pressed and for loose. And for loose powder, I would say the Laura Mercier. You cannot go wrong with this. This is a really amazing product. It's the translucent powder. I love using this to set the the under eye area specifically. Sometimes this will be all I use and I'll just do under eye, T-zone, and I feel like I have enhanced the staying power of my makeup without anything really looking like powder. It's super sneaky, but really, really effective. And they also have a pressed version of this. And in the past probably 6 months, I have realized that this was a thing, and it works so well too. So if you like the idea of this, but you're like, loose powder's a little fussy for me, you might want to go for this. And then I've got another pressed option to recommend if you're looking for more of a coverage type powder. What I love about this IT Cosmetics CC Plus powder, it has that SPF 50 in it, but it's probably the most versatile powder I own. It says sheer to full coverage finishing veil, which is a really interesting description, but I think it definitely can go there. I like this just gently all over my skin to set my makeup, but take a swatch of it on your finger if you're ever in a store where this is sold, and you will see like there is coverage here, there is cling to the skin. It's not going to be one of those powders that just kind of gently dusts away. And this is the illumination version that I'm holding here. It's a slightly more pinky compact. I don't notice a ton of difference, honestly, between the illumination and the original, but it's a great kind of corrective product in your routine. If you feel like you got a foundation that's not quite doing the job enough for you, you need to go over it with something to amp up your coverage, this is a great thing. It's one of the more fascinating products in my collection. I really enjoy this. I wear it in light, by the way. Setting sprays, I've got two categories here, one for staying power, one for dewiness. And my best staying power recommendation to give you is the Urban Decay All Nighter. I know this is not the newest packaging design, but whatever, it still works amazingly well. If you do have a long night ahead of you, if you suspect you're gonna be in high humidity conditions, gonna be outside a lot, you will be surprised at the effect this can have on your whole makeup look. So I love that. And then if you're thinking, I just want a little added dewiness to my complexion, I want to glow at the end of my makeup look, not feel so matte, the Farsali Rose Gold Skin Mist. I just can't get enough of the smell of this. To me, it's oranges and cream. It's got like little gold, 24 karat gold particles in there. They settle to the bottom, but then you shake them up, spray it on. It's not like you have a bunch of gold shimmer on your skin or anything. I think that's just for looks in the bottle, but it is a lovely skin mist. Love the way both of these spray out also. That's a really important point that isn't often touched on, but not every sprayer is the same. Bronzers. Let's talk about Too Faced Sun Bunny here. I've been reaching for this a lot lately. I love the luminosity in this bronzer. It's a split pan, so you've got one side that's going to be a little bit richer and another side that's going to give you almost a semi-highlighted effect. I don't really wear it as a highlight. I kind of wear it as like, if I'm going to do this all over my skin, I go for the lighter side, and where I want that bit more depth, like you can see here a little bit on my cheekbone area, I go for the deeper side. And I'm not scared about the subtle glow in this because I actually think it looks super natural on the skin. I feel like I've got a lot of effective matte bronzer options, like from the drugstore. I think about the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer in the Sculpting shade. I can think of a few that I like, but in terms of something that actually has a really natural kind of semi-glowy appearance on the skin, this is a beautiful one to go for. It is not a new kid on the block. This has been around for a while, but I love the look on my skin. For blushes, this is a newly rediscovered thing too. It's the Becca Luminous blushes. When I did like a back of the drawer challenge, I think that was where I rediscovered these. And the glow factor in these, I'm wearing one of these today. I'm actually using the shade Foxglove. Camellia here is your classic pink. That's very fresh. That's what drew me back into this line. Foxglove is a little deeper, a little more plummy, but I think that's probably very wearable on a lot of skin tones. And then Snapdragon is your classic coral here. So beautiful, beautiful blush option. Gives that little bit of glow to the skin, but I will tell you, if you want to save some money, go over to Ulta's website. I'm just the best at sticking to the plan here, aren't I? But go to Ulta's website, look for the Beauty Bakery brand, look for the Cotton Candy Champagne palette. You're getting 4 pans of glowy blushes that are just dynamite, like world-changing. You need that product. Absolutely. So transformative on the skin, like you put them on and you look so, so radiant. And every tone, I couldn't pick one over the next. They're all so beautiful. And it's kind of like getting a bunch of these Becca Luminous blushes all in one palette for a little bit better bargain. So just gonna throw that out there. For highlighter, I definitely have a favorite highlighter from Sephora'S website, and it is the Natasha Denona Super Glow. I've talked about this before in the shade called Fair, and it is a gorgeous highlighter shade. I've got it on my skin today, and I feel like when I put it on, I look just kind of dewy. It's got a brightness level to it that is so stunning, but it does not look like product really on the skin. And it was surprising to me that like she created this product, and then she had that little like 4-pan blush palette with the different textures in it, and the highlighter in there was so chunky and so sort of obvious, and I just wasn't into it. But this is gorgeous, you know, I love it so much. And just to go right into our next category, face palette, I've talked about the Too Faced Sugar Peach. This is one of my favorite face palettes, and I had mentioned the fact that wouldn't it be nice if Peach Pearl, the highlight here, could be an individual product all its own, and this is like almost exactly the same thing. So if all you're really interested in, as I've raved and raved and raved on this palette, if the only thing that really appeals to you is the highlight, get it from the Natasha Denona line. Back to this, I love Sugar Peach. It's so glowy. It's a super radiant palette. You get a couple of blush options. I see Peach Honey as sort of like a luminous bronzer, a little bit lighter than Sun Bunny, and then here's your gorgeous highlight. You can use this wet or dry. It's fun to play with in that way. This highlight wet looks absolutely amazing on the skin. So I've really loved this palette over the long haul, it feels like. Another face palette option that I must recommend are the Vizier Theory palettes. Look how compact these are. My traveling people out there, like, look at these. Bronzer, blush, highlight. Beautiful formulas. They're gonna be pigmented. They're gonna show up on your skin. This is Ablaze. This is your more coral, little more warm option. And then the one that I've probably gotten even more use out of is Enamored. I feel like you're getting a slightly cooler bronzer. Obviously the blush is more of a mauve as opposed to a coral, and this highlight is so pretty. It's like got a little bit of pinky coolness in there, but so stunning on the skin, and just an easy like throw it in your bag for travel, add in an eye palette, and you're done. Next category we're gonna discuss here is eye palette. There are a lot of directions I could have gone with this category, but I'm just what are the two best? What are the two bestest? One is big, one is small. Let's start with the small. This Too Faced Tickled Peach. This is value here. This is a huge, huge value, because I think this is what, $25, and this is essentially an eye and face palette in one. Bronzer, blush, under eye setting powder, highlight, eyeshadows, all of them. Beautiful textures, just, I mean, I have zero complaints about the way any of these feel. You've got the essential mattes like your dark brown, your medium brown, your cream. I have always loved the combination of peach and plum, and you're getting that here. If you missed the Bare Minerals Happy Place quad, move on to this, my friends. You'll love it. I have never not liked a look that this has turned out, and on top of it all, knowing that it can multitask in that way is just so cool. Like, I never felt so brilliant on this channel as when I decided that those were all face steps there. And then my favorite big palette, this is a splurge, but this is a nice time to take advantage of a sale as well. It's the Vizier Grande Pro 2. Now the Grande Pro 1 is your all matte palette. That is also an impressive, really wonderful palette, but in terms of uniqueness factor, if it came right down to it, I could probably scrounge up a lot of those shades at lower price points. What's in here though is a little bit more exceptional and out of the box. Let me just show you. I mean, this is full of shimmery shades and different textures of shimmers. You've got some that have some glitter infused. You've got some that are more like satin finishes, some that are very metallic. I'm wearing some of this today. I've got like this color on, as you might have guessed, a little bit of this on the lid, a little bit of this interesting color like under the eye. That's one of those shades where is it blue? Is it mauve? Is it brown? I'm not sure. So many fun, light, kind of transforming type colors. Don't get bored by what's in this row, because these are all doing something special, actually, when you layer them over other shades. The textures are wonderful, but it is so much like playtime infused in a palette. And if you're wondering, well, that looks nice and all, but do I want a palette that big, that expensive, that's all shimmer? And I can tell you this, that this shade, this shade, this shade, this shade, this shade, this one, this one, this one, this one, can all set up your crease, you know, can all be that deeper crease color, and it won't even look that shimmery when you apply it with a more buffing type brush like a Sigma E25, something a little fuller. And then they all have the potential to pack on the lid and look a little bit different way. So we've talked about that theory with the one shadow looks and everything, and this is just a really, really fun, fantastic palette. I used it a lot around the holidays. Really need to be busting it out for some fun, colorful spring and summer looks. But it's quality, quality, it's creativity. I really respect what they've been able to turn out here, and I love that palette. My favorite eyeliner that Sephora is selling currently would have to be this Too Faced Better Than Sex Waterproof. It is so good for me. It does not irritate my lash line at all, which has actually been an issue for me here recently. It's a very fine brush tip applicator, and it really does what it says it will do. It is a waterproof liner. How many times do we see that quality tacked on to products that don't really do the job, like they're not actually waterproof? This really is. My wing will stay there all day. It will look fresh. It will not fade, and it's super duper easy to glide on. So if you're looking for something like that to add to your routine, you might look into that. Top mascara has got to be the IT Cosmetics superhero. I mean, I love the length, I love the thickness, I love the speed with which it builds up on my lashes. This is not here to waste your time. This is not here to make you stroke through your lashes 8,000 times to get out the clumps and then try to build it up. On contact, you will see a difference right away with the first coat, and I would venture to say you may not even feel the need to coat it up anymore. The brush is not like obnoxiously big, so I feel like I'm not having a ton of accidents when I put this on, like getting out of control with the brush. These are like tightly packed, close to the wand, sort of natural bristles, and I do really like that in a mascara, so this has just been awesome for me, and it also does very effectively hold the curl, and so many other mascaras that might do this much for my lashes and plump them up volume-wise so much would tend to kind of weigh them down as the day goes on, so this is doing so many things so well. For brows, I wasn't even sure if I was going to mention anything in this category because I feel like there are so many exceptional brow pencils from the drugstore, but there is one thing that I've been working into my routine a lot because I'm kind of setting out to go ahead and like use it up, and now I'm enjoying it so much I don't want it to go away, and it's the Benefit Gimme Brow. I wear this in the shade 4.5, and the special thing about this, like, look how tiny the brush is. This is no spring chicken, like this thing has been around a long time, but I love the way that it holds. It holds about as good as anything could possibly hold, and it gives off more color than most any other tinted product that I've tried. So if I was thinking, what's the closest drugstore alternative to this? Well, it's probably the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Boost and Set. Small brush, holds well, does give color, but this gives off more like opaque color. If you were trying to boil your eyebrow routine down to one step, this would most effectively do it because it gives off so much kind of creamy color in the brows. Might be more than some people need for like a last minute setting step, but also could be exactly what some people need who are trying to minimize the routine. Lipstick. I've got a new favorite lipstick from Sephora. I love Bite. Don't get me wrong, I think Bite is fantastic, but I think I've found something that feels maybe even a little more luxurious going on the lips, maybe a little better staying power, and I have it in this one fantastic shade. It's the Pat McGrath Luxe Trance lipstick, so this is not her matte lipstick, but just her cream formula. The shade is called Unfaithful. I'm wearing it now. I love this dusty, deep rose. Deep, dusty rose is what it is. Beautiful product, like actually glides on the lips so nicely, feels like a luxurious experience putting it on, and does not feel drying in the least, but this will last really well on my lips. Also, the packaging, like look at this. How luxurious do you feel? Like how tempted are you to just sit this out instead of putting this in a drawer somewhere? It's so lovely. Oh, I skipped over lip balm. My Laneige lip sleeping mask, I don't have that upstairs. I'll pop up a picture. That is just a tremendous step to put on your lips before you go to bed, and it's thick, it smells wonderful. It gives me a real strawberries and cream vibe, but it's pretty much unlike any lip treatment I've used. That is my ultimate favorite. And then the Buxom lip balms, the Power Plump lip balms. They have these back in stock in full sizes now. You want the shades Flushed, which is a nice berry, and you want Fiery as well. It shows up as kind of like a sheer red. Flushed is gonna be not quite as deep as this stick. It's a nice sheer berry. They feel cooling on the lips. So hydrating, but not like slip off your lips hydrating. And the full size that they will come in, this is the small size. It looks like a standard lipstick. This is what their full size is. This is the shade Big O. It's that kind of a stick. It's an exceptional exceptional product. It is one of my top favorite tinted lip balms of all time. For lip gloss, I guess what I'm gonna work into this category is the Bobbi Brown Crushed Liquid Lip. I really adore this product. I would call it a lip gloss because it kind of has the finish, the shine of a gloss, but it has a balm-like comfort and a lipstick type opacity to it. I'm holding the shade Hippie Shake here. There are so many gorgeous colors. I've done a whole video trying them all on, and I've also done a dupe video that accounted for about half the line if you're interested in some formulas from the drugstore that are actually pretty similar to this. So I'll link to both of those videos below, but this is a really, really cool product because it's so comfortable on the lips, but you get that fullness of color and the wear that just feels so good. This is my last category, guys. It's just brushes and tools. Several things that I really love from Sephora'S website. The Pro Mini Flawless Airbrush. If you've watched any of my tutorials, you see this cropping up all the time, either to blend out foundation, to blend out concealer. This came in as like a VIB Rouge perk at one point in time, but they sell the same brush, just not with a red handle. And it's a perfect like thickness level. I love using that to blend concealer. Works well for so many liquid foundations, or I feel like the level of pressure that this applies is great for a lot of stick or cream foundations too. I also love my beauty blender. I feel like anymore when I go for a sponge, I really want to use the beauty blender. There is a very special texture to a beauty blender that's kind of unlike anything else. There are certain foundations I feel like you'll run into that just call for this to be used on it. So I really love the traditional beauty blender and the Tweezerman Pro Curl Lash Curler. This is my favorite lash curler. If you feel like you have round eyes, if you feel like a lot of lash curlers don't effectively get in touch with your whole lash line or they're just kind of too flat, this has a really pretty deep curve to it. So it sets in there and it gets in touch with all of my lashes so well, and it definitely changed the game for me once I started using this. So guys, that's it. Those are my picks. I didn't know if I was going to get through this in one sitting, but the best Sephora products in every category. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. What are you excited to get during this sale? And thank you so much for your time. If you're still here with me, thank you for watching, and I will see you again very soon. Bye.